Hello and welcome to another insightful episode of Just Not Career podcast. I'm your host, Nancy Gitonga, and today we have a phenomenal guest who is breaking barriers at the intersection of law and technology. But before we dive into the fascinating world of tech and AI, let me remind you to subscribe, comment, share, and stay connected with us on social media. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's get down to business. Our guest today is a force to be reckoned with within the legal realm. She is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and what makes her stand out is her passion for navigating the complex landscape where law meets technology. With a keen eye on the future, she is using her expertise to shape the discourse around tech, AI, and their impact on our legal systems. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Sharola, the brilliant mind behind this unique blend of law and tech. Hi, Sharola, how are you? Welcome to our third episode. It's been a pleasure to host you. And yeah, so today we have Sharola, and she'll take us through her journey, her career journey, and also give us tips and dips on what she does. So Sharola and I met in high school, and it has been a journey for us to meet basically, and I'm happy to host you. So Sharola, take it away. You can begin by telling us your name and what you do currently, and then now you take us back to when you were a child and what was your career ambition. Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy. Like she mentioned, I am Sharola Rahel Akoth Odipo. I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, a lawyer basically, and currently I am the managing partner at Akoth Odipo Law. The firm handles various areas of law. Basically, it's very wholesome. It has litigation department, conveyancing and commercial department. It has intellectual property, and it has, of course, the IT bit, which involves artificial intelligence and all that. So it's very wholesome in nature, but individually, in my own career advancements, currently I'm looking at delving more into policy development and artificial intelligence as a whole, because it's clearly happening and it's very new in the market, and I've had an interest like that for a while now. So when I was a child, I actually did want to be a lawyer.
Wow.
Yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I followed up the dream. Even in high school when I was picking up my courses, they were based on that angle and landscape, and yeah, I pursued it, and I actually enjoy being a lawyer. The only thing is, I did not know that I was going to like the innovative space and technology and, bits of telecommunications. I just knew I wanted law. In fact, initially, I thought I was going to delve more into maybe children, women and children, and the law. I do actually. I'm very pro gender, pro affirmative action, even in the innovative space. But I am finding myself liking the technological space a lot. So I discovered that I wanted to get into the technical space when I was still an intern. When I was in university, I remember I was doing an internship. Over the long holidays, I was working at a law firm, and this law firm had a client in telecommunications. The client was Communications Authority, which is actually the body that is used to regulate, the telecommunications space in Kenya. And there's a case that we handled on digital migration, and my mind was very young then, and I was very excited to see how, if you're a lawyer, you're still required to learn the technical bits of the areas that you represent. And when I grasped it, I was very excited, and I think I took a liking to it. So maybe that's why I'm pursuing it right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Since that's what you did in uni, now tell us the transitions between from now uni, the jobs that now you've taken, and how has it been in terms of trajectory of now until where you are right now.
So after graduation, in the legal career, after graduation from the bachelor's in law, you have to go to the Kenya School of Law to do the postgraduate diploma. So at this point, all of us are just general, like it's just law in general. There's no specialization of any nature. So if maybe you are doing internship during your degree program, then maybe you're inclined to a certain direction depending on where you are working. Actually, if you get an internship, it contributes a lot to shaping the direction that you're going to take. So after School of Law, we have pupillage. So during this pupillage, it's a 6-month program where you go under a certain law firm and you get a pupil master who is an advocate, who is more experienced, that will take you through this program and teach you the practical ropes of it. So when I went for my pupillage, I worked for a law firm that did not do litigation at all. They didn't go to court much. Actually, never. And they were big on corporate commercial law. So I learned a lot. I was thrown into the deep end real quick in my very early stages of my career. And I learned a lot. That is one of the areas I enjoy practicing. Other than tech and AI and IP, I enjoy corporate commercial. When it comes to international agreements and mergers, acquisitions, all these things, I love it completely, and I enjoy pursuing it because I learned about it when I was very young, earlier on in the career, and I embraced it very much. Then from pupillage, I got into a law firm. I worked the place I went for pupillage. I was actually absorbed for like the entire year, so I stayed there for holding over. And then when I got admitted, now I continued practicing. I did corporate commercial, but I learned a lot also about conveyancing real estate. So the scope kept broadening, and I think that's what enabled me to open a firm. Because when you open a firm, you can't just start with one area or specialty. You must be able to do a bit of everything for sustainability. But I learned conveyancing. I had a very, very strict boss. Anyway, I learned a lot from her in terms of conveyancing, real estate, securities and banking. Yeah, and then finally I opened my firm almost 3 years ago, actually. In February, we're hitting 3 years. And it's been amazing.
Nice. So basically, before you opened your job, basically, what do you call it?
The firm, the law firm.
Yes, your law firm. You had only one job before, like you only worked in one job before.
Yes.
Okay. I think with that, are you able now to describe for us, before even you started your job, so what were the pros and cons between now, let's say like from pupillage to now this first new job that you've got, and also give us a brief description of like how was it working there?
Okay, so when I was doing my pupillage in that firm, I was able to handle a lot. When I was an intern, just research here and there and correspondence, writing emails and letters. But when I got into pupillage, I actually handled the substantive bit. And I learned a lot. I could actually handle a file from file opening all the way to file closing of a matter. But the problem is when you're transitioning, when you get admitted to the bar and you're trying to get a job, especially in the legal profession, they don't consider your experience prior to admission to the bar. And that is where I learned a lot, actually. You find that most jobs, when they're sending out the job description and everything, the qualification always includes post-qualification experience. And in the legal profession, post-qualification experience basically means after you're admitted to the bar. So they tend to write off what you have learned before you got admitted to the bar. Yet it actually contributes highly, because in our profession you find there's some people who take longer to get admitted to the bar, but they work this entire time. They work, and they're able to get a lot of experience and expertise in different areas. But there's this issue with people only taking in people with a certain number of years post qualification experience, and that's a bit hard. Yeah, I remember there's a the final job that I applied to before now I started my firm. I worked in that law firm like 2 years before I started. They wanted someone who had 3 years post qualification experience, and I only had 2 months. But everything that was in the job description, I knew how to handle everything. But I had learnt it before I was qualified.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they took me because I explained that these are things that I was able to do. But I got some form of victimization because of it. Because the person who handled my interview, apparently one of the panel members was not present when I was
Being interviewed.
Yes, when I was being interviewed and when I was offered the job. She wasn't present. So when she came in and found that I already had the job, and according to how the firm had, advertised, they needed 3 years. So for a very long period of time, she thought I had, not long, like for like 2 months, she thought I had 3 years post-qualification experience, only for her to find out when we spoke, and I told her, no, actually, no, I don't have 3 years post-qualification experience. I only have like 4 months now. And then from that point onwards, there was a very huge difference in the way she was handling me. Much as I knew what I was doing, and I was doing my job, and I ended up getting victimization for that, which contributed highly to me exiting. Yeah.
But now in that space, was there any skills that you had gotten prior to, apart from maybe like now victimization?
The 2 years before I left.
Yeah.
Wow. Funny how this particular person who made me go through so much is the same person that made me learn the most, because through her I was able to learn how to run a firm, the structures, and how to be strict on turnaround timelines, and how to bill a client. And I even learned from her the whole conveyancing. That's how I ended up doing conveyancing, which is helping like clients to purchase a property, ensuring that the title is clean, due diligence, and is transferred, and even banks and securities, ensuring that there's perfection of security. I learned so much from her. But I feel like the way she had the whole idea, the knowledge and everything was just excellent, but the execution, I feel like the execution was a problem. Yeah, she found it hard to execute it professionally. Even the teaching, it was hard for her. She had the idea and everything, she knew the structures, but the execution was what was the issue.
So for now, for you, execution now in your firm has to be as it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because now in my firm, I borrow that and I take the best out of everyone who has taught me in the entire process. Like how to handle those who are junior to me in the office. I borrow heavily from where I did my pupillage. I had a very lovely boss. Her name was Caroline Kitoni. I can mention her because she really inspired me. I was just fresh from Kenya School of Law, and I didn't know anything about corporate commercial. They don't teach you the actual, things that are done in the practical world. And she was able to take me through it. If I don't get it right, she was very patient, and I learned. And it doesn't mean that she was not tough. She was tough. I was thrown into the deep end a few times, but her execution was very good. It was very nurturing, and I learned a lot.
Okay. So now let's go to now your current position and career. Is it where you wanted to be? That is the first question. And then to marry to that, now exactly what you do in now your career. You can now give us a day-to-day life of Sharola when she goes to the office, and then also what you actually do in terms of maybe the expertise that you provide for you as Sharola, and not mostly on the farm side.
Okay, so is my career where I want it to be? Not yet. Not yet. Because as an individual, I dream very big. Okay, so I want to advance. I'm actually studying. I'm taking up a few technical courses to help me with artificial intelligence. I'm taking courses in artificial intelligence and data science, so that I can understand the technical bit of this area. When it comes to AI, how it relates to the legal profession comes about with policy development, and regulations and laws that are developed to ensure that the innovation that is coming up is regularized, and it's just not, So yeah, I'm learning, because if we are supposed to work together, the people in the legal profession together with the people in the tech industry, you can't come up with regulation when you don't understand what they do. I learned that from now my internship when I was still in university. So what I do to make sure that happens is my day to day. I split my day. When I wake up in the morning, go to the office. I respond to all emails. I ensure that my work is well distributed. Myself, other members of the firm, and the day is running. Instructions are given, and then I handle my own personal matters. There are times that I have meetings I have internal meetings. Sometimes I have external meetings with other individuals, sometimes other clients, and sometimes other corporates that I am trying to work with in this area. So I schedule my meetings. I have the meetings, and after that, towards the evening, I leave around 2 to 3 hours of study. So I study. I'm trying to upskill. So we're talking about capacity building, especially in artificial intelligence, and you have to have the skills, and that means for you to have that kind of capacity, you have to upskill. You have to study continuously. Yeah.
And is AI taught in like campus, the tech bit of basically everything, and then how do you merge it now with law? Is it taught in campus, or now it's something that now you have to develop when you go to the world?
The legal profession is one of the most rigid professions, but we are trying to change that in the legal profession, and you'll find that even currently the Commonwealth Lawyers Association is coming up, with webinars to try and sensitize people on AI and ethics, and regularization, all that. But it is not taught in campus. AI is something that came up just the other day. Okay, it's been there for a while, but how the society is embracing it, the pace at which it's embracing it puts us in a position whereby it's very new. So we're actually trying to work with other stakeholders in the education system to try and come up with a curriculum for an AI course in Kenya, so that it can be introduced into the system early enough, because clearly it is the future, and we don't want people to run out of jobs. We want people to learn how to work with AI to make life more efficient, to even create jobs. The only things in AI that are taught is like software engineering, programming, data science, data analysis, but in the legal profession, how AI comes up is with policy regulation. In the university, we are taught about policy regulation and how a policy ends up becoming law in a country, because they start as policies and then they're introduced to parliament as a bill and they get enacted as a law. So that's how the legal profession comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how are you able to balance now innovation and governance? Because that is something that we know it's innovation is radically evolving, and since it's radical, also on your end, it has to be so radical because things are changing, and also it means that also in terms of compliance and the legal stature of basically our country and for any client that will be representing means that they have to be compliant. So how are you playing with that?
Well, AI is very broad, but the compliance bits, we have to, like right now in Kenya, there's an act, Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Act, Society Act. And well, I am not pro that act, to be very honest, because I have sat with other stakeholders in this industry and the landscape, and the kind of law that is being brought up by Kenya right now, the one that's in parliament right now, does not encourage innovation. They've already started talking about taxing. They've already set up certain threshold that makes it very hard for, we're trying to create jobs for young people, to encourage them to embrace innovation. But for that to work, we need to come up with laws that are inclusive, laws that embrace innovation, inclusive laws. Like there's GSMA is one of the companies that I admire how they handle. They've come up with a certain policy that gives a checklist. When systems are being created, they have a checklist to ensure that there is no bias, to ensure that data is protected, just to make sure that all these ethical issues, are handled and they are compliant. So it's easier to borrow from developed countries, for us, and see what they've done so far, because Africa has been a bit slow in catching on when it comes to this innovative space. So we borrow a lot from European Union, who have finalized on their act, their laws, and we work around it to make sure that it's tailor-made for Africa, for Kenya. Yeah.
Okay. Another question will be on gender, because we have gender, we have AI, and we have the law. So how are you able to create policies that can measure or mitigate these biases that we have in terms of how gender plays within the innovation space, and also how can everyone be given the space to be able to develop and evolve?
That's actually one of the conversations that is being had right now on LinkedIn, because the technical space is very dominated by men, or seems to be dominated by men. And so generally it's easier for the society right now to embrace an idea or anything that's on the landscape that comes from a man more than a woman. It's the biases are there, and these systems are also adopting these biases. So with policy, I think policy is a good way or tool to ensure that gender is balanced in all this. We can come up with an affirmative action provision in these policies to ensure that maybe if we are interacting, maybe if I'm an investor and I am trying to invest in your company, and your company is a tech company, one of the things that I should check on is the gender. Is there a balance in gender? Is your company embracing affirmative action? Are there women included? Because we're not short of women who are smart in the tech world. People are there. There are very many innovative women, but people need to sensitize the world out there at large about affirmative action. And if it's included in policies, I think it will work.
Okay. So I think maybe the other question will be on building ethical pillars in terms of AI, and also how people can be advised in terms of bridging those gaps. Yeah.
So when it comes to AI and AI actors throughout the life cycle of an AI system, from the time research is done, programming, to consumption and to termination of an AI system, all the people who are involved contribute to this ethical journey. Because the people who are doing the research, they have to ensure that it's thorough enough, so that it does not have biases. Because bias is one of the biggest ethical issues with AI, and other issues like accountability, transparency, the possibility of it eroding human rights, and things like that. So we need to first of all have the policies in place, and these policies need to have laws that ensure that there's allocation of responsibility on all these actors throughout the life cycle of an AI, so that people retain some form of responsibility. In case an AI system responds a certain way, then there's someone who's answerable for that, be it the data scientist, the programmer, all the way. So there's some form of responsibility that should be allocated to all these actors throughout, to ensure that there are checks and balances. Yeah.
Okay. The other bit is, are you able to give an advice to someone who wants to study law, but not only law, but what you're now doing in terms of AI, and what skills will they be able to get, or are they able to adapt?
Okay, first of all, people need to understand, when you're a lawyer in Kenya, when you're an advocate, it does not necessarily mean going to court. Let's start there. It does not necessarily mean that you have to go to court, or it's about litigation. Law is very broad, it's very wide. There's so many areas you can practice law differently all over globally. You can decide to work on any sphere, you can specialize on anything. If you want, maybe right now you're in university and you want to pursue, let's say, artificial intelligence, I'd say start early. In the university, there's provision for intellectual property. Start there. Learn about data privacy laws protection. Data privacy protection, it's a core player when it comes to artificial intelligence. So it's possible to skill up slowly. You skill up slowly, and when you're learning the legal profession on the side, try to get some technical skills, be open to technology, embrace it, and just be ready to learn generally, because I don't think it stops. We're just scratching the surface right now, and it's very possible. Open up your minds. Don't be fixated on the normal areas of law. It's possible to start up this new challenge and to go with it.
Okay, you're almost approaching to the end, which is now not so strict, but basically tell us how you manage your social life and your work.
My social life, it's very possible. I try to have boundaries. Like when I'm in the house, when I come back to the house, there's a certain time when you will not get me on the phone. If you call me, I'll not pick up your call. I have to create these boundaries for myself. Otherwise, I'll get swallowed up in all this. So I intentionally create time. And I think I like working, I like reading. So every once in a while in the house, it's very easy for me to find myself on the laptop or something. But I have intentionally set timelines where it's a space where I'm not working, I'm not trying to make meetings or respond to emails. I'm just focusing on my personal life and my personal things. So, and that discipline is very hard, but it's very necessary. Yeah.
Okay. And then what are you grateful for when it comes to your career?
I am grateful that I have been able to do what I've always wanted to do. For a moment there, I was lost, especially during employment. I learned a lot, but I was lost because I felt like I was not doing what I wanted to do, what I was passionate about. That's in the tech world. And right now, I'm grateful that I was able to get on that path, and that God has helped me to start my journey on the path that I actually love. So I'm grateful for all of that, for everyone who has supported my journey, my family, all my clients, all my partners in the industry. I am just grateful.
Okay. And you can now tell us where you practice so that someone can come to your office.
Oh yeah, my law firm is called Akoth Odipo and Company Advocates, or Akoth Odipo Law. We are based at Gigiri Box along UN Avenue. It's called Gigiri Box Park, Suite 106A. Yes, you will find us there any time of the day. Give us a call, shoot an email. We are available.
Okay. And with that, we say thank you. It's been a pleasure hosting you, and see you next time.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure as well.
With that, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this enlightening episode of Just Not Career podcast. I hope you found our chat with Sharola as inspiring as I did. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit subscribe and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our engaging content. The conversation doesn't end here. Connect with us on social media to share thoughts, suggestions, and career stories. Special thanks to our recent subscribers, Alan and Daisy. Your insightful comments make this podcast richer. A huge thanks to Sharola for sharing her insights into the dynamic world of law and technology. Find more about her work in the show notes. To our growing community, your support means the world to us. Stay tuned for more incredible guests and diverse career journeys. Until next time, this is Nancy Gitonga signing off from Just Not Career podcast. Remember, your career path is uniquely yours, so own it.